What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video, and today I just wanted to have an open conversation with you regarding the state of sample libraries and where I think they're headed in the future. And honestly, I think this can go in so many directions, so maybe after this video you can let me know your thoughts below as well. So where do you think sample libraries are? What do you like or dislike about them? And where do you think they have room left to grow in the future? So this will be an open conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. We can dialogue in the comments, so definitely don't be shy, okay? And in case you do want my personal recommendations for sample libraries, I want to give you my sample library buyer's guide. It's completely free, and I've organized it by the different sections like strings, winds, brass, percussion, and some other sections as well. I've also included the pricing and my personal utility for these libraries. So if you're interested in an easy to read, practical guide that you can download for free, I want to give that to you down below. Just click the link there and you can get access to that anytime. And, so you can hear my thoughts on a certain library if you're interested in buying a new one. And really quickly, the applications for the Virtual Composer Summit are closing tomorrow. So this is a 7-week live cohort with me and Ryan Leach. And so if you're interested in, creating a piece of music from start to finish, and if you want to work with me and Ryan in a closer proximity where you have like weekly master classes and track feedback calls, Q&A sessions, and really just get that personalized custom critique, then this is the best way to do so. So fill out the application form below. Again, we're closing the doors tomorrow for the January 2024 cohort. So if you're interested in joining us and you think you might be a good fit, then I'd love to hear from you and we'll definitely get in touch, okay? So let's quickly talk about sample libraries. If we think back to where they were a decade ago, even 2 decades ago, sample libraries were seen as this incredible resource, like just a treasure trove of instruments that really bring the symphony orchestra to your fingertips. And two of the companies who really kickstarted this industry really were East West and VSL, I believe. So both of those companies have been around for quite a while and they made some incredible advancements in the industry. So big props to them for doing what they do. And then in more recent times, developers have popped up, Orchestral Tools, Spitfire Audio, and smaller developers as well, all in the name of trying to provide the best tools available for orchestral composers to really allow us to create what we hear in our head and realize that through our virtual instruments into our DAWs. And I have to say that what we have is absolutely amazing. Like, there is so much choice out there, so much good choice out there. So you really are not lacking in any departments, right? And I should make that really clear. You really don't need as much as you think. What we currently have can get you from A to Z very, very easily. There are tools that give you all-in-ones. Think of ensemble libraries like the Albion series, but then you have the really deeply sampled libraries as well, like the Berlin series from Orchestral Tools, right? They really allow you to go deep into the line and craft it exactly as you want with every single sample at your fingertips. It's loaded with lots and lots of content and you have so much choice at your fingertips. And this has happened within the last, let's say, 5-10 years. Even today, like, developers are coming up with new libraries, but the thing is that they're trying to find new ways to present similar concepts. New ways to present in ensembles, different instruments. A lot of them are the same instruments being recorded, but now they're using halls, like rooms, different concert spaces or studios as a selling point. But rooms themselves, compared to, let's say, the instruments themselves, are not quite as important, in my opinion. If I hear a different instrument altogether that I think will introduce a completely new timbre and a new color for me to add to my palette, then I'm more likely to be interested in that, rather than, the same set of instruments recorded in a different space that at the end of the day kind of sounds similar to what I already have in many respects. So the advancement is not quite as revolutionary today in that regard, I think. Another selling point we see nowadays is sort of the variation on instruments that companies are selling. So maybe they change up the section size a little bit, or maybe they include like a combination of instruments that are recorded together, so you don't have to do that yourself in your DAW. You get that sound automatically when you're playing that patch. Again, that's a nice alternative color, but maybe it's not quite as revolutionary as recording an entirely new instrument or something like that. And a lot of smaller developers, kudos to them, they're finding new ways to sample instruments that haven't been done before. And in that regard, it kind of fills that hole in that market. But regarding the overall selling points, I think the biggest ones I've seen are just recording in new spaces, and then also recording in different sections, like releasing them in different options, like a la carte, where you can buy individual instruments versus the entire library. That's always a good option because then you can kind of try different elements from a library. So Yeah, it gives us more flexibility, gives us more choices at the end of the day. I think that's one of the most important things. But at the source, I guess that really is as far as we can get, right? Like we've basically sampled almost everything out there that there is to sample. And so what other variables are there to change, right? Then we can think about the post-production side of things. So the actual scripting, how can we create even smoother legato? How can we create shorts that are even more responsive to our playing? They act up a little faster, right? How can we craft performances that sound even more realistic? So a lot of the library itself comes down to the technological side for sure. And I think most of those advancements have been made as well. I think there are quite a few companies that are trying to pioneer different technologies, performance samples being one, where Jasper's consistently trying to put out libraries that fill holes. They create passionate performances that sound ultra realistic, as well as patches that remove the need for key switching. That's also a really cool idea. You know, having patches where you can play different lengths of notes, different velocities, and the library basically interprets your performing style to create a certain articulation or a certain sample that they're triggering. That's really cool too. But all that being said, I think the very last thing that we can do to incorporate new technology into the libraries is to use AI in some form. So this is where things like look ahead mode comes in, where a library might need a little bit of time to kind of read the performance that you performed and then spit out the performance in a more realistic fashion, you know? So one that comes to mind is Tokyo scoring strings, like Impact Soundwares came up with that technology where there's a little bit of a delay, but I think the performance then is more realistic with a little bit of time for the engine to analyze the performance. The other one is straight ahead samples. They create some jazz instruments, which is really, really cool, but they have what they call the smart delay. So you record your performance, it waits 4 beats while the engine analyzes your performance, and then it spits out a performance that's really realistic and has all the jazz phrasing and stuff in there. So having AI and basically advanced automation tools that allow you to interpret the performance that you put in, and then spit out a result that's more realistic. I think that is where a lot of libraries can go in the future if we kind of figure that out in the realm of our system, our industry. That being said, though, there's a bit of a scariness to AI as well, right? Because we're letting robots tamper with our creative potential, creative tools. And admittedly, I'm a little bit nervous about that as well. So the idea of having, a robot basically analyze my performance and then create something that doesn't feel completely authentic to me. Although you can certainly view it as just a tool to help you reach a certain result faster. So I guess it's all about how you interpret that. But at the end of the day, like that's where technology is going. AI is becoming ever more prevalent, especially in terms of jobs, right? In our industry, a lot of composers are losing jobs due to AI, which is sad to see. But in terms of the actual tools that we have, AI can definitely have a lot of room in there, I think. But it'll just be fun to see. So, do we get more flexibility with AI? Absolutely. If they include it as an alternative option, where we can turn it on and it can analyze our performances and give us better results, then I think that's a fantastic thing. We just kind of have to get rid of our stigma of thinking that AI is always bad and that robots are taking over everything, right? Because that's not absolutely the case all the time. But then I also like traditional sample libraries where you have to be in control of the performance at all times, right? So you have to rely on your own skills and abilities to craft a realistic performance, and you can't rely on anything else. It comes down to your own musicality. And I think there's a sense of satisfaction when it comes to that, Like if you put out something out there that you worked super hard on and you crafted every single detail and people like it, then there's no better feeling than that, in my opinion, right? So those are kind of my thoughts there. I think in the future, sample libraries will introduce AI more and more. I think in terms of outside of AI, there will still be some technological advancements to make playability even smoother, even better. We'll get even more realistic performances through regular programming. But overall, it seems like a lot of what we could discover has already been discovered. And of course, we can't tell the future. I would love to see in 10 years what happens with samples, but maybe we'll have more hybrid approaches where they use half samples and half synthesized stuff to make performances more flexible and realistic. That's also really cool too. But it's just an open field. I would love to see where this kind of goes. And that's where you come in. I would love to hear from you too. And maybe these thoughts can help give developers some feedback as well on what we would like to see, what we're afraid of, or what we think is currently lacking that they can work on. It's something we should definitely be open about and be happy to kind of discuss. So I would encourage you to leave your thoughts below as well. Where do you kind of see sample libraries at the moment? Where are they excelling and where are they lacking? And so maybe you can let me know. I'd love to chat with you there as well in the comments, and we can chat about it. So yeah, thanks so much for checking this out. I know it's kind of a hot button topic for a lot of people, but I think it's something we can be excited about in the future to see where technology leads us and how we adapt to that. It's a really cool feeling to know that we're kind of in this position where it's a wave, right? And we have to get on board with it. And if we don't, we kind of get stuck in the past with the existing tools, which again are really good, but I'm sure there will be advancements in the future that kind of revolutionize things. And yeah, we'll just have to see how it comes about. So yeah, quickly before you go, just want to give you my sample library buyer's guide again. If you don't have it, these are the recommendations for libraries that I use on a regular basis. And I've categorized it through the different orchestral sections, plus a few other ones if you're interested. And I've included the pricing and the utilities so you know how I might use the library as well. So you can find that down in the description box. And just so you know, the applications for our Virtual Composer Summit are closing tomorrow night. So again, this is a 7-week live intensive with myself and Ryan Leach. So if you want to write a piece of music from start to finish and you want that accountability, you want that private community where you can get encouragement and feedback from other members, and join our weekly coaching calls and our master classes and get that custom critique, then this will be the perfect fit for you. So you can apply down below in the description as well. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll be reaching out shortly after the applications close. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I'd love to hear from you regarding your thoughts on sample libraries. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.